We were doing equations of tangents last time, and now we're going to look at equations of normals. Now, all a normal line to a curve is a line that's perpendicular to the tangent. So you have to use one thing from grade 10 math, where you know that perpendicular lines have slopes that are negative reciprocals. And so if you can find the slope of the tangent, then you can find the slope of the normal by just doing the negative reciprocal. So here's our first example. Find the equation of the normal line to the curve y equals negative 2x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5 at the point 2, negative 5. So again, big perspective. To find the equation of a line, you need to have a point and a slope. We already have the point, 2, negative 5. To find the slope, well, we're going to have to use our derivative. Remember, our derivative finds the equation of all slopes of all tangents. So if we find the derivative of this, really easy power rules. Bring the 3 out in front, subtract 1 from the exponent. Bring the 2 out in front, subtract 1 from the exponent. The derivative of negative 5 is 0. And then you say, well, at x equals 2, my derivative is equal to negative 8. That means the slope of my tangent is negative 8. Anybody know why I wrote it as negative 8 over 1? Yeah, so when you do the reciprocal, you find out that the slope of your normal would be 1 over 8. And now it becomes just work in grade 10 math. Right? We want to find the equation of a line. We have the slope. We have a point. You can use y equals mx plus b or the point slope form. Either one will be fine. So here, oh, this is the tangent line. But here's my slope. There's my point. Put it into y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. Rearrange and solve for y, and we get y equals 1/8 x minus 21 over 4. So what does this look like on a graph? There's your point. The black line is your tangent line. The red line that goes through the same point, but it's perpendicular, that's your normal line. So what I'd like to do over the next 10 to 12 minutes is for you to work through examples 2, 3, 4, and 5. I will put up the answer for number 2 so you can check how you're doing. I'll put it there for now. I'll slide it down a little bit later. But you can see if you got your slope correct. I'll scroll down the rest of it so you can check your final answer there. Okay, I will put up a little bit of example 3. So example 3, find the equation of the tangent at the point. Use your GDC to find where this tangent meets the curve again. So we got our derivative. We've got our slope and our point. We find our equation. Now, if you graph your original function into y1, your tangent line that you found into y2, on your graphing calculator, you'll see that it intersects again at 2, -4. Okay, if you want to check how you're doing on example 4, finding your derivative. And then when x equals 3, your derivative would be -1. When x equals 3, the point on your line would be 3, 6. So to find your tangent, you would use the point 3, 6 and the slope of -1. To find your normal, you'd use the point 3, 6 and your slope as 1 over -1. Or -1 over -1, which would be just +1. So an important thing, okay, when you want to find slopes, you're going to plug your x value into your derivative, because your derivative is an equation of all the slopes of all the tangents. When you're wanting to find a point on your original line, you have to plug the x value back into your original line. So plugging x equals 3 into your original equation tells you a point on that line. Plugging in x equals 3 into your derivative tells you the slope at that point, the slope of your tangent. All right, and for the last one here, now we're given information sort of at the end. The normal to the curve is parallel to y equals -1/8 x. Find the value of k. So what do we know? Besides that the screen is frozen, there we go. So we know the slope of our normal and we know the slope of our tangent. If we know the slope of our tangent is 8, when we find the derivative, when you plug 1 in, it's supposed to equal 8. What does this mean? Well, it gives you an equation that 4k is equal to 8. So you could solve for k, and k is equal to 2.